you queer cats are tone setters. The same reason my main legion of chrome wetters with long cheddar, mixed with lines written, no time slipping. When we rhyme spitting, divine mission. Since the house days, GA Grandma left DJ Tam to outrage the South stays. About that Beretta clapping, lines balanced with
Head on over to Spotify and all other streaming platforms. Check out the NoMercyTV Podcast.
Yo, what's good, y'all? No Mercy, Trap New York shit, NoMercyTV.com. I know what time it is, man. Your man Rory done got himself fired from Joe Budden podcast. God damn, man. You know what's funny? The podcast that they did, that they titled "Clearing the Air," when I watched that shit, I still felt like there was a little bit of weird energy there. You understand? Because here's the thing. I'm not one of the like religious watchers of the Joe Budden podcast. Like, I tune in when it's something that I actually care about. In terms of like watching that shit on a daily basis, that ain't me. You feel me? I only watch when it's really like topics that I really care about. And looking at their energy and their chemistry in that Clearing the Air episode, it was like, okay, they kind of was clearing the air, but it still seemed like something was just off. Like it didn't feel like everything was rectified. Like whatever they were coming together to try to do, it's like there's still certain stuff lingering. You understand? So for a minute, I got finessed just like y'all did. I thought it was gonna be just straight up like, okay, they cleared the air, so I guess they're gonna get back to regular scheduled programming, or at least try to. You feel me? But seems like, unfortunately, that couldn't happen, and niggas had to fire something. You feel me? Now, it's crazy because it feels like this is just inevitable. And what does it always come down to? It comes down to money. You feel me? But at the same time, it's not even just money. It comes down to what I feel like, at least what I got from Joe Budden's side of it, because at the end of the day, you still got to hear what Rory and Mal have to say. You feel me? And on the business side, I feel like this. When people aren't involved in the business aspect, instead of asking questions, they do things like try to possibly go around the person that they should be asking questions, talk to other individuals, let people put certain things in their mind. When it's like, yo, the person who is the head of the operation is your man, you should feel comfortable asking about finances. You understand? And also, if you feel like you're not going to get what you feel like you deserve, then you should just dip. You should just dip. Why? Because you don't own a percentage of it. You were brought on and pretty much given an opportunity on a platform that was basically helping you to grow. You understand? Now, you might bring a certain value to it over time, like after you've put in your, certain amount of hours, and it's like, okay, this exists in part due to this person. But when it's not really that, and anybody could kind of just be there because everybody is mostly tuned in for Joe Budden, then it's like, what can you really expect in terms of business? And with somebody like Joe Budden, who comes off as the person who's going to be 100% honest with you, at that point, you make your decision. If you still decide to stay under conditions that don't fit you, you can't blame anybody but yourself after that. You are signing contracts agreeing to stay on for whatever wage that you're getting. You put your signature on that. So it's up to you to stick it out until contract is up or whatever. and take the energy that you did get from the opportunity and go build elsewhere. That's it. That's really all you got to do. You understand? But I felt like all of the extra shit, you know, the episode they did where, you know, Rory wanted to fight and all that other stuff, is just like, damn. You feel me? Like, if they supposed to be this cool and they supposed to be friends, like, I can imagine, like, being friends with Joe Budden has to be like one of the worst things ever, at least from what people make it out to be. You understand? Like, for at least from the people that, you know, have come out and, you know, spoke on him and things of that nature. Like, he just comes off like just, I don't know. I don't want to say Hitler or anything like that, but it's like Jesus, like, you know. But what I will say is I was paying attention, right, to the whole part about Akademiks. Now, what I will say is this, man. The way Akademiks be talking about Rory and Mal on, like, when he go on his Twitch rants and he be talking crazy about them, yeah, I would have an issue if my mans, who I'm doing a podcast with, and it's supposed to be like our bread and butter type shit, or at least one of our biggest endeavors, and we're trying to build a business, right? If my mans is cool with this nigga talking crazy about me on this podcast, and he's not doing nothing to step in or rectify the situation, or he's just showing a certain level of, like, he's just cool with it and don't care, like you going on live with the dude and chopping it up with him and stuff like that, yeah, I can see how that would be a problem to anybody. You understand? Like, Act be talking crazy on that Twitch. I done watched a couple of the joints, calling them pussy and putting personal info and just straight down talking Rory and Mal as men, like just completely going crazy. And especially for these to be people who are more like that than you are. Like, you on Twitch saying a whole bunch of stuff that you would never say to their faces. Never. Never. You understand? Even with being on a show, Act is not the type of person to get crazy with the rappers. He's completely humbled. He's completely crickets. Like, he don't challenge the rappers, like, or anything like that. He doesn't even come remotely close to coming off as a nigga who wants issues. So I can't respect that. And I can't respect that from Joe Budden not speaking up, not checking the situation, and actually still mainly being friends with the nigga. You understand me? Like, I can see why Rory and Mal would have a problem with that. Like, that to me is an issue. That's 1,000% an issue. Like, nah, we not doing that. That man talked too crazy. And if you're not checking that, then yeah, you on some bullshit, basically. You know, so, in terms of, because I don't know the chain of events. I don't know how the beef between Rory and Mal and Akademiks started. Who was talking crazy when somebody went to somebody's house, etc., etc. But my thing is this. The type of stuff Act be saying, yeah, if I'm not popping up, somebody might have to come to your house. It is what it is. You're not built like that. So you shouldn't be talking like that. Like, I don't respect that. Like, and this the thing. When it comes to Akademiks, I respect the fact that he's an entrepreneur. He done built his brand, even though he done built his brand up off of bullshit. You feel me? But he did build a brand. A lot of people respect his platform, etc., etc. But in terms of just like how he talks online in comparison to how he is around people in person, nah. I can't see that. I can't see him being built like that. He's just not. It's obvious. You understand? So, nah. I'll never respect Akademiks on that level. You feel me? Like, I'm respect the brand and the business part, but as a person, nah. You can't really talk like that when you're not built like that, and you would never do those things in person. So, I completely am 1,000% understand Rory's position, just because, like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. But that, to me, shouldn't have anything to do with the business of the podcast. That just shouldn't. You understand? If you're in the dark about certain things with the numbers and with deals and things of that nature. I mean, even though it's not really your business to handle or really be nose first in the know, it still involves you, so you should still be let in to a certain extent in terms of like, okay, I've been on this podcast for the last, 4 or 5 years, blah, 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 it's a deal coming in. Even though it's Joe Budden's platform, it still involves their future, so they should know, what's going on with everything. But I do get what Joe Budden is talking about when he was bringing up in terms of like how the money gets split, because it's like you might get presented with a $2 million deal, right? There's 3 people on the podcast, but out of that $2 million, you got whoever brokered the deal, you got management, you got lawyers, you got promotion, advertising, and expenses. You got editors that got to get paid. You have to make sure that the business can continue functioning first before people pockets start getting lined. That's what you have to do. You have to ensure that, okay, if we get this deal for this podcast, let's say we get $10 million, this money needs to be able to fund this podcast for the next, I don't even want to say a year. You really get a big bag like that. You want to make sure your business can survive and exist and go on for the next 5 to 10 years. You want that to be locked in. You want to be able to say, hey, no matter what happens, no matter how much my money gets messed up or whatever the case is, for these next 5 or 10 years or whatever, this business is still going to thrive. That comes first before people's pockets get lined. You understand? And then during that time of the business is when other deals might come in, other sponsorships, other investments, etc., and then y'all break bread from there. You understand? But I really think it's just crazy, like how just whenever it comes down to shit, it's always just like money. You understand? Money. You understand? So, it's just unfortunate. But, I listened to the Leak podcast earlier, and it's just like, damn. He straight up told the nigga you fired, like Vince McMahon style. You're fired. You feel me? So I don't know what that means for Maul. I do know Maul. I think Maul has said something to the effect of like, yo, if Rory not going to be included, then I'm not going to be down. You understand? So, it's crazy. It's crazy. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I don't know what this means for the future of the podcast, because I'm going to keep it a buck. I mostly relate to Maul. Like, Maul was personally my favorite person on the podcast because of insight and how he looks at things. And a lot of times when I'm watching a podcast, a lot of the points he brings up will be the points that I'm thinking about. You understand? I don't know if it's the Harlem thing and being from the trenches and all that kind of shit, but I feel like we just have kind of like a similar mentality when it comes to this shit. So, a lot of the things that, they'll be discussing on the podcast, he's usually the one that I'm more, catching points of his. He's a little more laid back, tries to be observant, not just jump out the window and stuff like that. And that's kind of the type of person I am. You feel me? So, shit, if anything, he probably should go off and do his own thing. Him and Rory could probably go off and do, whether they do something together, whether it's separate, like they both, I feel, have what it takes to probably do their own. You understand? So, just let me know what y'all think in the comments and holla at y'all soon, man. No Mercy, trap me your shit, NoMercyTV.com. I'm out of here.